everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of the WhotKnot podcast. My name is Kathy. I'm a disabled maker after a car accident in 2007, and this is a podcast about all the crafty things that I get up to. And as usual, I've got the battle of the lap going on at the moment because Buddy's in his usual spot on my lap, but Dobby would like to be there. And he's hassling, aren't you? You going to come up as well? Come on. So he's going to come and sail. But he will not be happy about this. But luckily, Mum's got a big lap and can nurse them both at the same time occasionally. Actually, we've had a bit of a problem with Rusty. He's decided he doesn't like going for a walk in the evenings. He hates getting wet. He hates the rain, and twice now my husband has taken him for a walk and he's got caught in the rain. And I think Rusty thinks that's going to happen every time, so he's not keen to go anymore. So we're trying to work out how to get him to overcome that. And what we're going to start doing is I am going to start going for a walk in my power chair with them. And I'm hoping that if we all go, then Rusty will be more enthusiastic about it. But we don't walk Ralph very much. I mean, we've got a big backyard and they play in that. But because he's got a lot of arthritis in his back and his hips, but he hates walking. He always sits on my lap wherever we go. So what we're going to do is Ralph and Buddy will sit on my lap and we will take Dobby and Rusty for a walk each evening in the hope that Rusty can re-find his enjoyment of walking and realise he's not going to get wet every time. So this isn't going to work, guys, for the podcast. It's not going to work. You'll have to sit on the mat. And since Buddy's the king, Dobbs, you're on the mat. I'll give you a cuddle later. Oh, he's looking at me with, what? It's all right, mate. We'll have a cuddle later. I just spoke to my husband, told him I was podcasting in the hope that he doesn't call. I always ring him and let him know that I'm about to start filming so that he knows not to call. And I said to him, when I'm finished, I'm going to go and make myself a nice coffee and go and sit on my bed with my feet up, because I've got one of those beds, a power bed that sits up and the feet go up so that I can get my circulation going. So I'm going to sit on the bed, put the heater on and watch a movie and knit, of course. How perfect does that sound? Anyway, enough waffling on. Let's get down to business. So I've got I don't know what happened in the last 2 weeks. I have got a fair old pile of finished objects to show you. So let's get on with it. All right. I bought a couple of these little kits last week. My glasses on so I can read everything. And this was from Bombed Yarns. And I've knit the little jumper, the pattern that came with this. So I've got a couple of these as gifts as well. This is my own yarn that I've dyed, just a little random skein. And I've sewn a couple of buttons on there. And as you can see, this little sheep is now all set. I will say that somebody sent me on Instagram a picture. This Bombed Yarns is in Australia. There's a lady in the US that also does something similar. And I think that her jumper looks like it fits the sheep a bit better. I knit this as according to the pattern. And I feel like this section here is too big or something. I don't know. The one that the pattern that the other lady sent me on Instagram, the sheep's got a little polo neck jumper and things like that. But having said that, I am still happy with this guy. So, yep, that's a finished object. I'm just going to turn these lights off. I feel like it's a little bit bright. So I'm not sure if that's better or not, but I find that sometimes if I've got 2 overhead lights, if I put them on, it's very glary. So let me just show you my sheep again and we'll see if it's picking up the colours a bit better. Yeah, I think that looks a bit, the colours look a bit better on that one. So there we go. That's my sheepy done, all finished. And I showed you on the last episode that I bought, Mel and I did a crafternoon on Instagram Live, and I tried punch needle. My punch needle gadget was broken when I got it out of the packet. So I since bought another one, which I showed you last week, and I've had a go of it, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So this is my finished object with my punch needle embroidery. And I just went through my old sock yarn that I bits and scraps and things and pulled out colours that I thought were sort of autumn toned. And I just sketched these on the fabric and went to town doing my punch needle embroidery. And it's like colouring in. You sort of just randomly go around. I've used like about 3 or 4 different colours in each of these, and I just sort of coloured them in almost. So this, I haven't quite worked it out. I think you can go with either side. You can use, I'll show you the back. Well, I'm going to call this the back. And the only reason I like this, the texture of this and everything, but I feel like the leaf dimension is kind of lost on the fuzziness of it. So I'm calling this the back, but I believe it can go either way. So again, this is the front, and I'll just show you up close. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. I enjoyed doing it. I've actually been looking on Booktopia at some of the books that you can get that do this slightly finer punch needle. I used, well, that's mainly 4-ply, except for around the edge of this yellow one here. That is some leftovers from Mills de Shane that I've just knit her, and that is an 8-ply, and that did struggle a bit to go through the thinner needle, but obviously I managed to get it to work. And this is just a hoop that I had, and I've put a little bit of twine on it, and it's all ready to hang up. So, yep. Oh, the other thing I did was when I pulled it through the hoop, once I'd finished, I ran a little bit of thin layer of PVA around the edge of this, pulled the canvas over, and then put the hoop together. And then to cover up the fabric, because I just snipped it off there, I've just put a little bit of like a bric-a-brac sort of ribbony, just to finish it off. So yeah, another finished object. So also was happy with that. Now, if you watched the last episode, you know that I made myself a little tea time patchwork cloth. And thank you to everybody that sent me messages about that. The most helpful being a lady sent me a message and said, go through the feet, the foot that you get with your sewing machine, and there should be a 1/4 inch one that measures it as you go along. So I didn't even know what I was looking for. Had to Google which foot it was to see which one I should use, and I've been using that. So when we caught up with the coffee ladies last time, Julia, yes, I'm mentioning you again, Julia, she had some books that she was getting rid of that she put on the table. So Em has taken one and I took this one, and I think Em's going to bring the other one back and we're going to swap over, and anyway, so that I can make a few bits out of that. But this was the book that I grabbed off the table that Julia was getting rid of, and it's got some really good projects in it. So I went through in an effort to try and make friends with my sewing machine. And I don't know, did I mark it? And I'll just show you some of the patterns that are in here. It's got really detailed instructions. So it's got some cute little bits like these little coasters that look like capsicums. And it had tea cozies, and this was the one that I decided to make, mainly because I thought it looks relatively straightforward and I think I will be able to do it. So it's a tea bag pouch for people who like a cup of tea, and you can put this in your bag with your tea bags in it. So I thought, yep, I will give that a go. So I'll just show you a couple of the other bits before I show you my finished object. So it goes into like this little box. How cute's that? For putting your patterns in, and it shows you how to do the patchwork on the front of it for a scrappy box. And I found the instructions very easy to follow. It's all very clear, step by step, little tips and ideas. So anyway, that was the book. And this is what I've made. So I've used just some slightly heavier fabric. I've put a daisy decal on the back there, and when you open it, I've used some spotty fabric, and I had some fabric that had some kitchenish type things on it. So I fussy cut, which is a new term to me, which means that I cut specifically. There's a bit of waste involved in doing this, but I figured I'd have a go. Specifically cut so that those pictures would be on the design. So it's sort of like a teacup and a kettle. And as you can see, it's got a little trim on the top of each pocket, and I've put some tea bags in each section, so it carries 3 tea bags. And I've also put on the back of it there a little handmade with love. And my plan is to give this to my sister. I've got a couple of little bits and pieces to give her. And as I said to you before, she makes me lots of jams and chutneys. In fact, I'll put a picture in here. A few weeks ago, when we had our get-together, Nicole gave me a whole heap of limes, a bag of limes. And so I fully intended always never to use them myself, just to give them to my sister, and because she makes all that sort of thing. And I said to my sister, would you like them? Of course she did. And a few days later, she gave me a bottle of homemade cordial that she'd made, lime cordial, with the idea to mix a bit of vodka in it, vodka and ice. So, yeah, I'll put the picture of the cordial that she dropped in for me. But yeah, because she's sort of done a few things like that, I like to do a few things in return, and she works full-time in a very stressful job, and she loves her cup of tea, so I thought she will get some use out of that. But I enjoyed making it. I don't know about you, but I feel like, look, I've got my lines straight. I don't know, is that in focus? Seriously, I cannot see a thing without my glasses these days. There we go. Yeah, I feel like I got all my seams straight. It all lined up quite nicely, as you can see. I was very particular in cutting it out. I'll just show you on the inside again. I was supposed to hand sew. Once you've put it all together and you turn it in the right way, you are supposed to hand sew down through the gap. But I just ran a stitch all around the edge of it. So it was a pretty quick project. It took me like an afternoon to make it, but I feel like everything's lining up quite nicely. So yeah, I plan on doing another one. I've joined a sew along for next month. I'm not quite sure how it all works and everything, but I've put my name down for it. So we'll see how I go with that. And I'm hoping to learn a few things with that. So yeah, that was my sewing project finished. And I don't think I told you what I was wearing. I'm wearing my Cumulus today, which I knit earlier this year. I really like it. This is out of some Bendigo Wool Mills wool, which it's soft and I like wearing it and everything, but I did not like how it's knit up. So I don't... I'll put the name of the wool in here. They're not selling it anymore. It was a short run that they were doing. But yeah, it's a nice soft yarn, but I feel like my stitches look a bit choppy, and even after washing and blocking it, it hasn't kind of plumped up and filled in the gaps. But I still wear it all the time. I like it. So yeah, that was what I was wearing. And I forgot to say thank you to everybody. The dogs put me off. I have my intro down, and talking about the dogs has put me off my game plan here. But I normally say a thank you to start with, and I wanted to say thank you to everybody that's joined the Love Note Cal. So on Instagram, we are doing a knit along for the Love Note, and there's quite a few people that have joined on it, and there is going to be a prize. And just to refresh your memory, I'll put a picture of that here. So if you haven't joined us yet and you still want to, there's still plenty of time. It's once you get past the lace work on it, it's such a quick knit. I've almost finished mine in 2 weeks, but I've been working on a few other bits and pieces. But I think you could easily get it finished in 3 weeks, no problem. So if you still would like to join with a chance to win the prize, go over to my Instagram and put a photo of your Love Note on Instagram and tag Love Note Cast On. Hashtag Love Note Cast On. I'll put that on the screen here for anybody that's interested. But to everybody that has joined in, thank you. So let's have a look at my next finished object. Now, last episode, Jay gifted me this yarn. And it's really a beautiful colour. It's lovely and soft. It's also a Bendigo Wool Mills. And the makeup of it is 80% mohair, 16% wool, and 4% nylon. And I thought, I'm going to cast something on. So I had a quick look around and thought, I'll knit a hat because I only had 2 balls. As it turned out, the hat only took 1 ball, so I've still got 1 ball left. And the pattern that I discovered is a free pattern on Ravelry by the Knitting Expat, and it is called the Beanie or the Slouch hat. Beanie or Slouch hat, that's what it's called. And as I say, a free pattern. And so I cast it on, and here it is. So this is the hat. So yeah, that's the hat. it's a free, as I said, it's a free pattern, so I'm not giving anything away that I shouldn't. But you basically cast the band on. It's 100 stitches cast on with a 3.75, and then you go up to a 4mm needle and just knit to the length you want. It looks like quite a big hat, and I've got a reasonably large head, and it's not tight on me, but I don't like that tight hat. And I like a little bit of extra room in my hat, because generally if I'm wearing a hat, I've got my hair up, and I like a bit of extra room to accommodate that situation. The only thing I would change about it is it's got the 4 cast off sections at the top there, as you can see. And I feel like it gives it a bit of a square look. And I don't know about that. If I did it again, I would do more decreases rather than just the 4 to avoid that sort of really square look. Having said that, it looks okay on. I'll put it on so you can see. I might mess up my hair, but I'm not fussy about that. So, as you can see, it's a pretty loose fit. There's a bit of room in the back there. If you were wearing your hair up. But it sits nicely because it's a mohair. It's soft. I think it looks nice. The downside, what I can tell you, is this yarn is a nightmare to knit because it's got the little loops. You're putting your needle in. You've got to really be careful to avoid the loops because they catch and they pull and your knitting gets tight. It was a slow knit because of that. So I would not like to knit a full garment in this at all because it would be just so painful to knit. It's not a smooth, nice, clean sort of knitting experience for sure. But it does look pretty, I think. The colour is beautiful and I'm glad I got it done. So I plan on giving this to Beck, Mill's partner, because she loves a beanie and she likes wearing her hair up, and I think she'll be able to fit her hair into this hat quite nicely. So, yeah, another finished object there. And that was that one done. And my last finished object to show you this week is my big one, and that is my pan sweater / jumper. And thank you. We had a new subscriber and she was watching my past episodes, and there was a comment that I'd made as I didn't know why we called them jumpers. She's enlightened me. And I did not know this, which I feel a bit bad about because we used to breed sheep and we have lived on a farm, but I didn't know that male sheep are called well, I did know that the male sheep are called jumbucks, but jumper comes from the in the jumbuck section of the wording. So that's why we call them jumpers, apparently. Who knew? So thanks for that info. Feel so much more intelligent. But this is my pan sweater. And I've washed it, I've blocked it, I've sewn in all the ends. I think I told you guys, this is the Ruma Finalgain yarn, which is a I'm going to call it rustic, natural wool. It definitely has a scratchy and prickliness to it that I am not a big fan of. And I don't know if you can see, but I feel like even after washing it and blocking it, and I washed it and then rinsed it with some conditioner. And although it looks better than it did, I still am not 100% happy with the stitch definition of it. I feel like it looks choppy, which I'm not a fan of. So, yeah, I mean, I like it. I like the pattern. I would recommend the pattern. As I said to you, I did change the pattern slightly. There was supposed to be another row of leaves along the top section here, which I have omitted. And this line here was not supposed to be there, but I added that just to give it some sort of, you know, continuity, I guess. It is a tiny bit big on me, but no problem. I don't mind. I had to play a bit of yarn chicken, so I had one ball left to do the sleeves, so I wound some off until I had exactly half, and I knit up every last bit except for about, I would say, 10 grams. So that was very satisfying to knit up every last bit of the yarn. But I'll wear it for the next podcast so you can see what it looks like on. The sleeves are about the same length as these. They're 3/4 length, which I like. I prefer. Sitting in a wheelchair, I do not like the longer sleeves. I find they grab and rub on the wheels, and my cuffs always look dirty if I have longer sleeves, so I don't really like that. But yeah, it was a fun knit, easy to do, quick to knit up. Once you've done that pattern section at the top, you fly through it. As I said to you, I'm not sure about the colour because I feel like that it might make it look like I've got no clothes on, but you can let me know about that when you watch next fortnight's podcast, and I'll actually wear that. I didn't wear it this week because I can't really stand up to show it to you and everything, and I wanted to hold it up to show it to you, but I will wear it on the next podcast. So, yeah, real scratchy. Not real scratchy. I'm being dramatic, but scratchier than I would like. So, yep. So there's that. So that's all my finished objects. And the next bit I'll talk to you about is my watercolours. So let's have a look at those. All right, let's have a look at these watercolours. So I've got a few watercolours to show you this week. First up, I have got a picture that I painted of Mill's lovely partner, Beck, whom I think is just divine. And I will put the corresponding picture that I copied from. So so that's lovely Beck. And I think I probably need to do a little bit more work on it. I am not 100% happy with the jawline just here. It's kind of lost some definition. You'll see from the photo what I'm talking about there. And I need to put a bit more detail in on the hand area. So once I finish this, I'm going to send it down to Mill and Beck, but I'm going to do a little bit more work on it yet, I think, to finish it to a standard that I would like. So that's Beck. And then as you guys know, I'm going crazy doing the cats. And I thought I would show you this. I have bought this watercolour paper, this brand here. It's a bit reflective. Let me see if I can get it. Watson's White. And it's a very smooth paper. I can hear the postie in the distance. Yeah, so that's the paper. It's a very smooth paper. Designed specific, well, not designed specifically, but so that the water sort of runs a little bit more on the surface and things like that. But yeah, so I've been practicing my cats, and this is the new one that I've painted. Let's see if that is in focus. Put my glasses on. So that's the latest kitty cat that I have painted. And as you can see there, as I explained to you last week, I've used the salt in this section on the arm here. Just there. and also here I've used a little bit of the salt. I've also used the drop-in water technique to get some of these, what they call blooms happening. But what I'm going to do is I've filmed myself in a slight time-lapse painting this particular picture, and I do put a lot of these on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, go over there and have a look, because probably about once or twice a week I do film these time-lapse paintings and I put them on Instagram to some music, and they usually run for about 1 minute, so it's pretty quick. But I have filmed this one for people who don't do Instagram, so they can see what I'm talking about and how this paper works and the technique that I'm using here. I am following a lady on YouTube, and I will link her. I mentioned her last week, but if you're interested in having a go at this, and I recommend that you do, you can have a look at that. But I'm going to insert here a little picture of me painting this, so I hope you enjoy that.
I'm driving down an empty freeway, no waiting for the light to change. I'm seeing the sunrise behind me.
So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did like that and you would like me to do a little video like that more often for YouTube, just let me know and I will insert one every so often if I've painted something. But my last picture that I've got to show you is, I thought rather than continuing with the cats, well, I mean, technically is a cat, but I thought I would paint something a bit different. So I painted this tiger. And this is one of the ones that I have got on my Instagram with a little music video to go with it. So, yep, I was very happy with how this guy turned out. I love the pops of orange. I was watching a lady the other week on YouTube, and she was talking about the watercolour, and when you start out with watercolour, you tend to buy, you know, because you don't know if you're going to like it, you don't know if you're going to keep doing it, and it's exactly what I did. You buy the cheaper paper, you buy the cheaper paint, you buy the cheaper paintbrushes. And as you go along, you might buy a tube of better quality paint or a slightly more expensive brush or better quality paper. And what I can tell you, and she said it in the video and I agree with her, is that when you do step up to the next level of quality, you notice a difference. And it not just in terms of the paint, the way the paint works and stuff, you more get the results that you want. The paper and the paint and the brushes work really well together. But I think one of the things that I have to say that I like better about using the higher quality paints is the pigment, the colour pigment. And in particular, you can see it on this one, the oranges really pop. Like it doesn't lose the colour as much. I've told you guys before that when you're painting in watercolour, the paint that you drop down on your paper generally fades by between 20 and 30% once it's dry. But the higher quality the paint is, the more actual colour pigment that is in it, and the more vibrant and vivid the colours are. And I think this is a good example of that. But yeah, I was very happy with how my tiger turned out. So might have to do a lion next. And as usual, I did have a little bit of a fiddle. It's kind of slightly off centre, but that's all right. I used my little round watercolour pad and painted this up the other day, just like a little patchwork painting. And that was just something that was a bit of fun. If you can hear scratching, buddy, no mate. I have the dog beds under the desk here, and they seem to always want to dig and scratch at their beds when I'm filming. So Ralph in particular likes to do that. I'm up against it here, guys. But yeah, so that was my tiny little watercolour painting that I've done. Now, let me see, how are we going for time? Oh no, we're going well. So that was my watercolour. Now I've only got 2 whips on the go, and one of them I can't show you because it is the advent to go with the advent boxes that Susan from Ash and Eve Designs and I have coming out later this year for those of you that have purchased it. But I am working my way through it. It's looking good and I'm happy with that, but that's all I'll say about that. And my other whip, of course, is my Love Note. And I've completely finished the body. The colour is really pretty and I'm really happy with how this yarn has knit up. I did do the helical knitting. So I have done the helical knitting from the lace down, and I think it's dispersed the colours quite nicely. I've got a good mix of the different colours going on there. I will tell you that from my previous Love Note experience, I picked up the provisional cast on. I knit about almost an inch, just under an inch, and I have done short rows on the back. So I've done 3 short rows on the back just to lift the back up a bit. I was having a look at my other Love Note because I tried this on this morning and I can put it on and it sits really nicely around my neck, but it's not too tight to get over my head, but it's snug. And I'm wondering whether I might unpick my cast off and change. I just did a knit purl cast off, but I might change it to a the cast off where you knit one and you pass the stitch over and then you pass it back onto the needle to give you a little bit more stretch. So I'm tossing up about whether I will do that or not. As I said, I can get it over my head easily, but it feels just a tiny bit. It doesn't have much give past a certain point. So I might do that. And the other thing I'm definitely going to change is I thought, oh, well, I'll do a bit of a different cast off on the hem here. So I have done the tubular bind off, and I don't like how it looks. I feel like it looks too heavy. It doesn't have the same drape and fall as my other Love Note. So I am planning on undoing that and just doing a regular cast off on that. But other than that, I'm up to the sleeves. And I feel like I should have them done pretty quickly. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. So, if you haven't knit the Love Note, get on it. But, yep, that's my Love Note, and I will keep working on that. So once I finish my Love Note, I was going to knit the Gamma. I have ordered the wool for the Gamma. It is coming from overseas, so I still haven't got it yet. I still haven't got the yarn. Yeah, so that's a bit of a pain. But I have got two other things that I would like to cast on, and one of them is the Magnolia Bloom by Camilla Vad, and that is a bulky 12 ply. I'll put a picture of it here, and she holds an 8 ply and 2 lace weights together to get the garment that you can see in the picture there. I have bought the pattern, and I'm thinking I might cast either this on, and the yarns that I'm thinking that I'll hold together are, I'm going to go hold 2 4 plies to make the 8 ply and a Suri alpaca, which is slightly thicker than a lace weight. So I'm hoping that will give me gauge. I'll probably knit a tiny, tiny swatch to see. But, yeah, so what I've selected out of my stash is this colour, which I think's really pretty. It's got Donegal's in it. And this is a yarn, as I said, 4 ply. So it is called Vampire Apocalypse, and it is by Cola Girl Collective. And she's in Adelaide, Australia, so she's an Australian dyer. And this is an 85% superwash merino, 15% Donegal neps, and that's it. So, yeah, so that one is one of the things. Then I had these in my stash, which I was going to knit with something else. And this is 100% pure thin alpaca. And this is a Holst garn. So it's got a slight fuzz to it. It's definitely soft, being 100% alpaca. So that would be those two. What do you think about that? And then, as a contrast, and this is one that I've dyed up, this, as I said, this is the Suri alpaca, and I've got this one. So it's got kind of a few mustardy colours through it. There is a tiny little bit of the reddish colour going through it. And I don't know, I feel like this could look quite interesting together. Let me just turn that around. I don't know. I'm interested to knit a swatch of that and just see. So I've got some yarn dyeing in my garage at the moment, and it's for my sister. She's going to be knitting, I can't remember what it's called, but I'll put the picture. Well, she's not knitting it, she's crocheting. My sister is a crocheter. She is going to crochet this garment for my mum, and asked if I would dye up the yarn, which I have done, and I'm waiting for it to dry. But once it's dry, my sister doesn't have a ball winder, so I'm going to ball it all up for her. So when I ball that up, I'll ball these up and knit a little swatch and see what it looks like. And hopefully I'll have that to show you next time. And the other garment that I'm tossing up with casting on is, I'll put a picture here, and this is called the Sonetta, Sonetta by Yamagara. Well, we all know I'm probably butchering that, but let's see. And I was going to show this to you in the For Me From Me, because I did buy it. But I'll show it to you now so that you know what yarn that I'm talking about. And I thought I might knit that out of this yarn. This is really pretty. It's got lots of nice soft colours running through it. I think it would look really nice in that particular top, this Sonetta. I've got 3 skeins, so plenty to knit it out of. I was a bit worried because I thought this one looks a bit darker, but what it is that the dark bits on these are behind the ball bands. It's just been skeined up slightly differently, so I don't think there'll be any problem. But having said that, I will helical knit it once I get past the sort of the pattern section. I'll helical knit the main part of the body, so that won't be a big deal anyway. So yes, For Me From Me a little bit here, but yeah, so that's what I thought I would do. I'll just show you. This lady is Hippie Fibres, and she has some really lovely yarn, and I don't know why I'm buying yarn, but apparently I am at the moment. I've actually contacted her because she had another yarn in her shop, actually not dissimilar to this, but she only had 1 skein. So I've asked her if she would be dyeing some more up soon, and she said yes. So I'll probably buy 3 skeins of that as well. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about. I'm probably going to go with this because, yes, I'm going to mention you again, Julia. Julia and I were talking about knitting the, just make sure I get the name, the Magnolia Bloom in possibly September. So, yeah, I'll see. So that's my up-and-coming projects that I'm thinking about doing. And the next thing I've got to talk to you about is my Etsy seller. So I've got this lady, and she is Reflection Mosaics, and she is in South Australia. She's only got 10 sales in her shop, and her name is Catherine. And I've ordered this kit. So this is how it came, all packaged up nicely. And I will open it. Am I prepared with scissors? No, I'm not. Let me just grab some scissors. And I will get this open a pretty quick smart. And so, as you can see, I haven't opened this at all. This is going to be an unboxing almost for both of us, for all of us. If I can work out how to open this box, that would be handy, wouldn't it? There we go. So, let's have a look what we got in here. So, when I open it, there's some instructions. there is all the bits for the mosaic, glass tiles. There is a little bird, so that's what I'm going to be mosaicing. And I'm hoping to have this finished to show you next fortnight. So this looks like a cutout that she's cut out and painted black. So that's that. It's a little bit, there's all my little glass tiles in that bag with a piece of leather to hang it up. And I'm not going to actually touch this at the moment. There's some glue in there. And what does that say? There's some gloves. And that black, which looks a little bit messy, is the grout. So everything that I need to make that little bird. And I'll be interested to see how that goes. And I will give it a go. But she has some lovely things on her in her shop. She's got, if you're interested in mosaics that are actually completed, she's got some finished objects, and she's also got a few, like I bought the bird, but there's a few different ones that you could buy. So it wasn't very expensive and something a little bit different. So I'm going to give that a go and see what I can come up with to show you guys next time. So that's my Etsy seller. So thanks, Catherine. I will be looking forward to having a go at that. I haven't done mosaicing before. I have looked at kits and things like that, but I've never actually done it. So that'll be new to me. Okay, nearly forgot. I'm going to have to add this in because I nearly forgot to do it. And it's my Ravelry revealed. And the yarn that I've pulled out of my stash this week is my Berroco remix, and that is this guy. I love this yarn. I have used it before. I've knit myself a garment out of this, and I purchased this off eBay, got it on somebody was getting rid of it, and it's not a colour that I normally would have gone for, like what I would call a grey blue colour. But having said that, I still quite like it. And the price was right. So this is in colour 3913. And I think it's got a name, but it hasn't got it on here. And this yarn is 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. But the thing about this yarn, it is 100% recycled. Whoa, the sun just came out big time. And I really like it. It's really soft. It knits up beautifully. And what I plan on knitting out of this is a Stevie. And I'll put a picture of my other Stevie that I've already knit, which is in a burgundy colour. And I wear it like crazy. It's so comfortable. It's because it's a cotton. It's cool to wear, it's comfortable, it doesn't feel tight or anything like that, and I love it so much. And I don't know why I'm kicking around my heels knitting another one, but because it also knits up quite quickly. It's probably it's not 8-ply, it's probably like an Aran worsted, maybe in that ballpark. But yeah, it's really nice yarn, and I love that top, and I'm keen to have another one and use this up out of my stash. So yep, that's my Ravelry revealed, and that will be knit at some point in time. So that's that one. And apart from my For Me From Me, guys, let me just check my notes. Don't want to have missed anything. Nope, looking good here. That's everything. So my next section is the For Me From Me. So if you don't normally hang around for that, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all the new subscribers, and thanks to everybody that leaves comments for me. I still have to get back to a couple I read all the comments and then I go through them again and respond to them. So if I haven't responded to you, I've definitely read your comment. But I will finish responding to them this afternoon. But yeah, leave me a message and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. But for the rest of it, let's see what I've been buying. All right. For me, from me. What have I been buying? All the things. And like I said before, I don't know what's got into me. I'm buying yarn. Do you see behind me here? Do I need yarn? No, I don't. But I'm buying yarn. So many good dyers out there at the moment. So much beautiful yarn. As I said, I mentioned to you in my what I'm planning on casting on, that beautiful yarn. I don't think I told you the name of it, did I? Let me just tell you the name of it if it's got a name. No, it hasn't. No name on it. But it is a bamboo. This one is a merino bamboo. That's why I bought this one, because I'm very interested in the bamboo and cotton and hemp fibres and linen in yarn rather than just 100% wool because of where we live. But when I was buying that, I bought this as well from the same lady. Oh, isn't it nice though? Look at that deliciousness. So delightful. Look at the colours in that. Hope that's focusing. Really, really nice. But the reason that I bought this one is it's also an alternative fibre. This is a linen. This is 90% merino, 10% linen. So, yeah. I have got nothing planned to knit with this, but I'm sure I can come up with something from my Ravelry queue. But you can see it's got those. The thing that I've noticed when I dye linen is it has a slightly, you can more see it down here on this grey section. When you dye it, the dye does not take to the linen content, so it gives it a slightly translucent look to it, which is really effective. And I have knit with the merino linen before. I knit my Zweig out of that merino linen, and it is a dream to knit with, an absolute dream. So yeah, bought that and have ordered some more from her. Plus I have bought some from another lady off that had some lovely yarn. She was having a sale, in my defence, but that hasn't arrived yet, so I might have that to show you next time. So that was that. And then I came across, this lady was, I actually follow her on Etsy, but I purchased this little water pot. Isn't it sweet? And it's got the little dip in it there, so you can put your brush on it. Just grab a brush and do a little demonstration. So when you're painting, you can just put your brush on it like that. And she had several of these with different patterns on for sale, but I liked the little flower one. And it came beautifully packaged. She's made these herself. So it's, she's got her little, I don't know if that'll actually show up. It's probably a little bit hard to see, but she's got her name embossed there. But she sent me this little card so I can show you. Cute little, she's got some lovely things in her Etsy shop. She's got cups and little dishes, and she makes cards and things like that. So I think she's only got a few sales in her shop, as I recall. Have I written that down? No, I haven't. But she's getting her website up and running, so she will have that up and running soon. And I'll put her website in the show notes and her Etsy store. So if you're interested in having a look at her, but I was going to back out of trying to pronounce her name because it looks hard. But I'm going to give it a go. So I think her name is Shabinham. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. But she's got a lovely store. She's got a lovely aesthetic. And I'm very happy with my little water pot for my watercolour painting. So, yep, got that guy. And another thing that I picked up off Etsy, and I've left it in the packet to show you. This lady is into paper craft, and she sent me this. This is the envelope she sent it in. I've just blacked out my address. But look at that picture. The little bear looking at the mama bear. So cute. And then on the inside, it's got a little poem, a bear poem on the inside of the packet. So what did I buy from this Etsy seller? So this lady, I'll just get my receipt out to get the name, is Annie Bello Paper. And she is Annie Bello Paper on Etsy as well. And I have bought a Manga paper flower ball kit. So I've never heard of this before, and I've never done this before. I've bought the small one. So it's all packed up like that. And I don't know if that's blowing out too much for you to see what I'm actually going to be making. But it is that flower arrangement made out of paper. And everything that I need to make it is in this pack. So this has got paper squares, hanging string, clips, and full instructions included. Adhesive not included. Glue stick and liquid adhesive are recommended. Additional supplies and adult supervision may be required, but I think I could probably manage without that. Please see inside for paper pattern colours in this kit. So, yeah, I don't know if that picture might show up a bit better, a bit darker. I'll put a picture from her Etsy store in so that you can get a really good look at what I'm going to be heading towards. But it was beautifully packaged. I paid $20 for that. She included this, which is rather sweet. It's a little notebook. So it's just got some lined pages inside it. Be handy in the old knitting bag, wouldn't it? But, yep, so I've purchased that. So we'll see how we go making that. And I bought a couple of books because I love a nice little book. And I got this one mainly because of the book cover. But it is nice inside too. And it's called Wonder. And on the back it says, have you ever wondered what's behind the hidden doors, the paths that lead to nowhere, and the secrets of lost treasures? And this is a book by Beatrice Blue. And basically what it's got in is just little bits of information, precious details. It's got some beautiful pictures. I'll just go to the front here. Their pledge is they plant one tree for every book sold. So if you buy this book, they plant a tree. So in this book, it's got The Empty Glass House, Creative Beginnings, Education, Perpetual Movement, Finding Treasure, Searching for Inspiration, Precious Details, Stories and Tales, Studio and Media, Watercolor Alchemy, Creative Process, Character Building, Designs for Picture Books, Children's Week, The Fold Out, Making the Cover Art, and Chasing the Wonder. So, yeah, it's just got like a whole heap of... I like these books because they help stimulate your creative process. And it's just interesting to just sit down and have a little read. There's some little interesting pictures that are in it. It's not a book. It's a book that you can just pick up and flip to any section and just have a little look and see, you know, if there's anything interesting in it for you. Look at those guys. Yeah, that says, through my art, I hope to tell timeless narratives that will be enjoyed for years to come. So I haven't actually had a really good sit down and a look through this book. So I'm hoping to do that this week. But, yep. And as with most books, it smells nice. So I like that. And the other book that I've purchased, and it's a new book out, and it is the Japanese lace stitches. So I've bought that guy just for some inspiration and ideas, and it's beautifully laid out, and all the it's a bit awkward for me to hold. It's got lovely pictures, clear pictures, and the pattern details for each stitch. So, and the book is divided into various sections. So depending on whether you want cables or lace or borders. So yeah, I'm interested to have I've actually already had a pretty good look through this, but I want to go through it again and just mark pages that have got patterns that really appeal to my eye. So, yep. So they're my two purchases, and I got both of those from Booktopia. And I think that's everything. Let me just have another look. Booktopia, yeah. I think that's it. So we're done. We're done for another fortnight. It's getting cold here. Getting real cold. In fact, they said on the news that it might snow in Queensland. Like, what is that about? Having said that, as you can see from the podcast, I've got the sun coming in and out and in and out. So, but we've been having the heater on. Rusty's been having a blanket. He wants to go to bed with a blanket on him. Dobby sleeps under the doona cover next to me, so even the dogs are a bit cold. But the thing I like about the cooler weather is I love soup. I love soup as a meal. My daughter thinks soup is not a meal. You can't call soup a meal, but I do. And I like having soup at this time of year. So might make some soup this weekend. We'll see what we've got in the fridge that needs to be used up. Oh, well, use it up. But I think that's everything. And I will be back in 2 weeks to have a chat with you. And on the next episode, we'll chat about the Friends I Like Flowers Cal. So there'll be that. But, yep, pop over to Instagram. Don't forget about the love note. And even if you just pop over to have a look at some of the garments that people are knitting, doing a great job. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay crafty. Bye.